Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Like I said in my video yesterday, I have another Summer Cup Ultra League team for you all. And this team is absolutely killer for me. I played all these battles this morning actually, so I had an idea of what I was going to run, but I didn't have as much success as I did until today with this team. I had some solid success, but I went from the low 2400s to all the way past probably page 2, page 3, the leaderboard, top 200. They haven't updated the leaderboard to my knowledge, at least at the time of this recording, but I'll check when I edit this video. The leaderboards yet, but my elo is way surpassing the top 500 at the very bottom 500 mark of the leaderboard. So anyway, the team is Gastrodon with the Cradily and a Victreebel in the back. ABB Grass, but here's the thing. What I noticed when I'm playing Ultra League Summer Cup is that so many people disrespect a potential ground, particularly Gastrodon lead. Other ground types, there's some play and stuff like that, but the Gastrodon, bulky with the aggressive mud slap damage is so strong into so many teams. I was able to just get a ton of free wins. Even matches where I'm hard countered in every way step throughout the match, I'm able to find wins. So let's get into the battles and I'll show you how I did it. I have, I think, 4 straight sets in a row. So no filtering any of the losses either, but these are all my battles from today. So let's get into it. Before we get into the battles, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you'd like private one-on-one coaching, scrims against me, some of my league guides and strategies ahead of time, or even tune into my live stream battles, feel free to sign up through the Patreon link down below. Or of course, you can run a Shadow Cradily or a Victreebel. Personally speaking, I think Victreebel's the better one to run Shadow on. I think the regular Cradily is a little bit better for the bulk. But as you can see here too, right? Players that are just super weak to Gastrodon, they're staying in Tentacruel and the Gastrodon. So I'm already expecting them to be pretty weak in the back. It's going to be a Virizion coming in. It doesn't really matter. If they stay in this matchup too long, it's not really great for them. And here comes a Skeledirge, which fantastic for me because I have plenty of coverage into this. Able to debuff, able to potentially grab a shield even. Doesn't even matter if I grab a shield or not. Honestly, as long as I take this thing out, we're in a good spot. So, you know, there's always a chance that Virizion has Stone Edge, which is not ideal. But that being said, I do get, unfortunately, denied a chance to throw a Mud Slap there. But this person's running Leaf Blade and Sacred Sword? I'm not really sure. I'm not shielding either way. Oh, something to note as well too. I've seen a lot of players do this, even in like the higher elo range I'm in, the leaderboard range. Don't ever throw Leaf Blade from your Virizion into a Victreebel, right? Like you want to throw the Sacred Sword. Obviously, maybe they're trying to bait, but like they're the same energy. There's really not a big deal in baiting with the Sacred Sword, right? Trying to make it seem like you have Stone Edge. And honestly, at the end of the day, if you don't have Stone Edge, you don't have Stone Edge. You're not really going to do much there. Fantastically for me, but this Thorn is actually quite difficult for my team. It beats everything on my team, actually, especially with the Flash Cannon. That being said, I'm just not going to shield, and then we'll see what we can do here. But yeah, don't throw Leaf Blade. It's just a worse move into Victreebel. It's double resistive versus single resistive Sacred Sword. They're the same amount of energy. Don't do it. Anyway, all right, that's my rant there. We are against a Bellibolt, which unfortunately I can't really afford to shield this. I go for the Earth Power. I wasn't expecting them to shield this, but they do, which I guess makes sense because they don't have a lot of health left on the Thorn. At this point in time, this is going to do a good chunk of damage with his Zap Cannon. That being said, I'm just going to throw my Leaf Blade right away and finish off this Thorn as best as I can. So able to still beat the Core Breaker in the back, which is quite nice. Galvantula in the lead. A few of these do have Energy Ball, but I find that most, especially in this elo range, are typically running Lunge and Discharge. There's just too many waters to run, like, not run Discharge, in my opinion. I go straight away for the harder hitting move, and then this is where I kind of panicked a little bit. Probably shouldn't have even shielded this, but I should have came in Cradily here. Main reason being is that if you can keep your Victreebel in the back with the Gastrodon in the lead, you're in a much better spot, because the thing that core breaks both Gastrodon and the Cradily is Virizion. Also these scenarios, right? Because they can farm me down with the fire type, whereas they can't really do that into a Cradily. If they come into a Cradily, right? They have to respect the potential Rock Tomb. So Skeledirge, Typhlosion, they're just having a great time into a Victory Bell compared to a Cradily. Anyway, that being said, this is pretty bad because I'm in Blast Burn range. I get the Mud Slap through, so I'm expecting this to almost take it out. And I thought that they were going to come in and try to combo play me with the Galvantula, but they didn't. So yeah, maybe I already had the movement left with it. That's potential. But yeah, anyway, I think that's my only win con if they did leave with the move, which I believe they did, if I'm not mistaken. All right. And if not, then I just complete through. But they're going to win Charge Attack priority over me anyway, so my only hope is that they go for a combo play in that situation. Unfortunately, don't get the win there. But this is what I'm saying, right? When you have a situation like this, come in the Cradily. It's way harder for the Typhlosion to farm you down, but also, if they do have a Virizion on the back, you need to save the Victory Bell for it. Trust me, this is a very important thing to learn about this team if you're going to learn anything. And here you go. There's a Virizion, right? If we came in with Victory Bell into the Jellicent, not only is it a worse matchup because the Shadow Ball just hurts a lot more, but the other factor here is that, if they have the Virizion on the back, you're just in a terrible position. So I'm going to just shield this up. There's always a chance that they have Stone Edge. So that makes things a little bit more uncomfortable. But that being said, I have a lot of health, and a lot of them are not running Stone Edge. As you see, Sacred Sword. At this point, I'm just going to Poison Jab down. You can survive a Stone Edge too. 2 Stone Edges is a little bit trickier, but yeah. Alright, fantastic lead yet again. Catching a lot of good leads with this team. This is a pretty tough safe swap. That being said, I'm just going to absorb all this damage and then swap over to Cradily. Essentially, I need this to be NG dry for me to have a chance here. You kind of have to double shield, but you get the shields back with the Skeledirge in all likelihood. Most will shield at least once here. I think I don't actually need a double shield at this point in time because they're debuffed and I have a lot of health, right? If I came into this right away, it'd be a different story, but we have a good chunk of health left. And if they shield here, I'm 100% shielding. So they don't shield. That's fantastic for me. They try to go for a catch. Not going to happen. And then we get the matchup we want. And this is pretty much GG's at this point in time. Again, you need to save the Victory Bell for a potential Virizion. Virizion's running everywhere here. And yes, it does core break the team, so you just need to be aware of that. The other factor here is that, I mean, they're just going to keep... That's not even worth it for them to shield, in my opinion. Yeah, I have the Rock Tomb, and then I have plenty of energy on this Gastrodon to finish it off. I've even beaten Virizion in the lead teams as well. It's not that hard, but obviously if it's in the back and you just have Cradily and Gastrodon, it's a little bit tougher. We go 4-1 in this first set. As you can see here, I think I started out already at this point in time over 2,500, but I started the day on like 2,400s. Fantastic lead, and again, people act like Gastrodon just doesn't exist in this meta, especially in the lead, which is why there's so many times where I'm just like, I am totally fine here. At this point in time, too, you can also even swap out and pivot out if you want to, which I think I do. Let's see if I do or not. Maybe I leave with the move and then I pivot out. Yeah, that's what I do. And they come in Skeledirge, which is also not really a great matchup for them, so that's always good for me. There's always a chance, again, they have like another team that's really weak to Gastrodon on the back. They're just going to quit out for some reason, so we'll take it. Alright, Virizion, absolutely awful lead, but like I said, there's still play around it, so let's see what we can do. They have Sacred Sword too, which is even worse for me. This is the tough part, right? Because this thing beats Cradily from this health range for sure. And yeah, I mean, I could survive a Scald at this range if they go for the Scald instead of Sludge Wave. They went for Blizzard, actually, which is kind of wild. I have seen a decent amount of Tentacruel with Blizzard, which I think makes sense over Sludge Wave. So, just something to note in case you do run into any. Alright, this is pretty bad for me. Now, this is Virizion into Gastrodon, Tentacruel when the Cradily's chipped, and then a hard answer with the Skeledirge. But the thing to note is that this Skeledirge is running Hex, and that's not so bad. It's much more manageable. So they do have the Torch Song. I'm gonna throw this move to force them to shield, and then I come in with the Body Slam bait. there's almost no way they don't shield that, right? So just save myself a little bit of energy. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much, I guess, because it's probably the safer play just go for the Earth Power, because this damage I'm throwing from the Gastrodon is pretty useless, right? I mean, actually, it's not too bad, because I could swap over now and just, like, Acid down. Yeah, I think that's going to be my play. Okay, yeah. But they come in with the Skeledirge. Actually, yeah, I think this energy is quite valuable, because now we have the energy to take out this Virizion. And if I didn't chip it with all those Body Slams, I would not be able to, like, take it out. So, like I said, you could beat even the hardest of core breakers in that lead. It's actually not the hardest core breaker. The hardest one is actually a Pidgeot, which we will see later. Luckily, that's pretty rare in this meta, but yeah. All right, anyway, they come in. I come into Jellicent with the Cradily. Usually, they don't even shield that first move because people usually go for Octoon, but they actually shield it, which is kind of wild. So I'm going to shield as well and see what happens here, because they're clearly... This is a sign where they're usually just really strong into the Gastrodon in some other way. They have another answer, but they don't have a great Cradily answer. So that's always not the best sign for me. It doesn't mean they don't have a great grass answer, because yeah, because they don't have because Cradily is kind of different in the sense that it has play into rock types too, so whereas Virizion doesn't. So it's not always a telltale sign that they're weak to grass in the back, but they might be. All right, that being said, we're going to farm up a little extra here and see what we can do. They're locked in, so that's pretty good. And I could potentially get to Sludge Bomb if they come in with the Fire User, but they quit out. We don't know what they have in the back, but I'll take it. All right, another Virizion lead. Shiny too, one of my favorite shinies. Again, pretty tough, but they come in Skeledirge, which is not as bad into this matchup. So I could potentially grab a shield here. It's unlikely they go Torch Song here, so able to get to a double debuff, which is nice, and grab a shield potentially, or flip switch. At this point, it's not really worth shielding because they're going to maintain switch advantage if they really want to. We get the full Mud Slap down, which is nice, and then in comes a Kingdra. So we're able to draw out the fire, and now this is a slightly more neutral matchup, which is good for me. It's kind of annoying because they can obviously bait with the Octazooka, but you do get to double Leaf Blade before they get to the Outrage, so that's always good. I'm going to overfarm a bit here, see what happens. In comes, it's going to be Octazooka. I can't really pivot out here, though. It's not going to be ideal for me. I thought they were going to throw a move here, but they didn't throw a move. So I leave with the Sludge Bomb, though, which is really nice, because I know I win Charge Attack priority, and they're in Sludge Bomb range at this point in time. So because of that, we're able to win this. And they actually threw that energy, which is really interesting, because now this is quite bad for them. Maybe they're thinking that I was going to only be able to throw a Leaf Blade off. I don't know. Anyway, Genesect. I believe this is electric. Genesect Shock. It's kind of hard to see from the speed of this video, but I believe that's what it ran. Either way, you don't actually end up seeing the specific drive. They just keep throwing Scizor at me, so it's not really relevant for this matchup. But I think most I've seen are running electric drive for some reason. Great catch onto the Feraligatr, but not the end of the world, I guess, because we are able to get this move off before they get to a move themselves. So we'll see what they can do here. Again, they're probably slightly ABA weak to the Gastrodon, so I thought this to avoid any damage, extra damage there. All right, and now I'm going to swap over, and then they come in with a Swampert. Now this is kind of tough for me because I kind of need to land a grass move, but that damage I threw earlier was kind of useless. I don't get an acid through, but I didn't actually have the move. I thought I had the move, but unfortunately I actually didn't if you look at it carefully. This is not ideal. I think maybe the better play here is overfarm to 2 moves then throw, but because I did this, they get to an Scizor, and I was hoping I'd just survive it, honestly, was what I was thinking. Unfortunately, I do not. So another 4-1. Probably could have played that better and made it a 5-0, but like I said, we climbed with this team. All right, Shadow Scizor. This is a kind of a weird matchup, so I kind of learned how to play this matchup more in my last 2 sets because I faced like maybe 3 or 4 of these in the upcoming battles. So you see at least 2 more battles with this. Let's first another shield. I figured everyone that's running Shadow Scizor will shield here, or at least the second one. Doesn't shield a single one. Because of that, I'm forced to go down 2 shields right off the bat, which is really, really unfortunate. Probably really good IVs on that Scizor, because otherwise, how? But either way, this is not good because the Feraligatr, of course, has so much play into my whole team. I do go for the Rock Tomb debuff bait here. See if we grab a shield, and we do, which is not too bad. But they're going to throw on Charge Check Priority, so really good timing there. This is pretty bad for me because I don't really want to take out Ice Beam on anything. I'm kind of expecting that, I don't know, the Gastrodon has some play in the back, because this is a Gastrodon counter, right, with the Frowgator, for the most part. So, yeah. Anyway, in comes the Swampert. Kind of peculiar, because I think Scizor is probably like the better Pokemon to keep alive for them, and probably switch over to a water type, but the way they play it out worked really well into my backline, unfortunately. Double water being double grass, but going down 2 shields definitely hurt me there, so well played for sure. But we will take that lesson in for our next Shadow Scizor matchup. Alright, against Homesteading's Henry here, he is running the Virizion in the lead, and he's staying in, so honestly debuffing this is not that big of a deal. I'd rather just do some damage here, because if he's staying in this long, right, like if I throw the Rock Tomb, he could pivot out and clear debuff, so I might as well do a little bit extra damage with Grass Knot. And now I'm able to force a shield and the energy from a Virizion with Cradily. That's actually not that bad at all for me. Now he's going to be locked into this matchup, which is good. Smart enough to actually throw the Sacred Sword on, like some people throwing Leaf Blade. Alright, this is a kind of a weird matchup. What I'm kind of scared of is that I'm just completely countered in the back, so I don't really want to pivot over to Gastrodon too soon. Luckily for me, it's actually a Lapras, so I have a ton of play into this back end with this Gastrodon. And yeah, shields are down, so I could just easily land a Earth Power at this point, which is quite good. He has a slight energy lead though, but this will put it in Body Slam range. I have to watch out for a potential catch. Goes to the Ice Beam, so I already know that he's not really trying to go for double Sparkling Aria. But we do get the undercharge here, because great catch by him. And then now I throw the Body Slam. I guess, like, in hindsight, he probably should have gone for double Sparkling Aria, because he can't Sidewave me down anyway. So it would have been hard for him to get to Sidewave, but maybe he was closing in on the Sparkling Aria at that point. Alright, going against Z Swilus. Really good player here. So I'm playing it a little bit differently, because the last guy did not shield. I think it was Shadow Mimikyu. I don't know. I recognize like almost every single name here at this elo range. A lot of people on leaderboards. But Z's Wallace does shield. So a little bit unfortunate, but I grab a shield at least. And now I grab 2 shields. We're on 2 shields apiece, which we have no shields left, which is not the worst for me because I can farm down. And so this is not, I'm not feeling too bad about this. In comes the Tentacruel, and again, this is not too bad, right? I avoid the Victory Bell on it, and usually speaking, they have a Scizor on lead because they don't want, they're probably weak to grass in the back. So my grass in the back should be really strong, just like against Shadow Mimikyu, except I just went down 2 shields, but because we have 2 even shields, it's much better. And as expected, pretty good into the Bellibolt. That being said, I kind of misplayed this, and you'll see why. So, I go for the Leaf Blade on Charge Check Priority, which obviously good on Charge Check Priority. That would be enough to KO, but actually just is not enough, and I should have gone for Sludge Bomb. It's extra damage. If I go for Sludge Bomb there, I'm in a much better position because he still has to commit energy from this Tentacruel, and yeah, unfortunately, because of that, I just don't have enough health, right? If he had to throw the energy onto the Victory Bell, then I probably get to move with the Cradily. So, really well played by him. But again, another lesson learned on how to play out Shadow Scizor. I think most are still going to shield there. I just think Shadow Mimikyu is one of the exceptions there. Again, another situation where you want to bring Cradily. Cradily doesn't really beat Jellicent straight up like that if you're behind energy, especially if they have shields and if you don't land a bait or whatever. But if you could chip it down, then you could bring the Cradily in. And of course, just in case they have Virizion on the back, you're in a much better position, right? This person brings in Jellicent, which makes me think that they might be double weak to Gastrodon on the back. So AB weak to it, but we'll see. Actually, no, not the case. But it's going to be their own Gastrodon, and we're totally fine here. Because we have the Victory Bell. And yeah, it's going to be a good position. They're going to wait out there. Bellibolt also has very little play into my entire team, which is quite nice. Oh, I completely goofed here. So 1, I should have came in Cradily. 2, I swapped way too late. And they're running Foul Play. I was hoping they run at least like Shadow Ball so I could shield like a more energy intensive move. Yeah, this match itself, I had a big brain fart moments. So don't do as I do here, because this is such a good matchup for me, right, with the Bellibolt there. But I just don't play this well. Simple as that. All right, I can't really shield anything here. Do I shield? No, it's kind of not worth it. Just Foul Play. It is the Bellibolt that comes back in, but I have no idea what they have in the back at this point, and I'm feeling pretty bad because likely they have a strong answer to ground in the back. That being said, I'm going to come in here, yeah, and there's the strong ground answer. Honestly, Virizion would have been fantastic in this, so if I just played it out better. Again, you almost rarely want to counter swap anything with Virizion when you win the lead like that, because you just shouldn't swap in general, even if you lose the lead, right? But especially if you win the lead like that, because again, Virizion is generally just better into a lot of counters. Really smart play to farm me down like that, though. I thought that, you know, if they were just going to commit energy, it would have been fine. I go 2-3 there. Should have been at least a 3-2. The 2 Shadow Scizor games, I probably could play it a little better as well. But I actually didn't really lose much elo, because I think ZY was just like in 2700 or something, and because I lost him, I lost like, I think 2 elo or something for a 2-3, which is kind of crazy. That's kind of what happens when you have up pairs like that. Okay, Cradily lead with a Virizion on the back. That's not a good time. I mean, ABA grass and just having me hard counter throughout. That being said, we gotta do what we gotta do here, right? And try to wear this down as much as possible. I can't really afford a shield at this point in time, so there's that. When did I spend a shield there? Oh, right, in the lead, yeah. Yeah, so how to deal with Cradily in the lead is you need to chip it first with the Earth Power and then swap over. That's probably the best way to do it. That being said, this Cradily is on the lower end of health, but unfortunately, I just short on 1 Mudslap worth of energy. Alright, so my only win con here is land a Sludge Bomb and hope it's enough. First, I need a bait too, which also is not ideal. And I need to throw as much extra fast attacks as I can, so I'm going to fully optimize here. And just short. 1 assist short. But I gotta say, that's still pretty close though, right? You got a groundwater into a grass, into Cradily lead. You get the Cradily into a Virizion, which is not good. And then a Typhlosion into the Victory Bell. Like I said, this team has a ton of play. Alright, Shadow Scizor number 3 here. I think this is a Mind Joke. Again, another really well-known player here. Licky is kind of wild, honestly. Wasn't really expecting what even charge attacks to be thrown. It's going to be Solar Beam, which I guess makes sense. There's a decent amount of water types in this meta. I'm just hoping at this point, because I spent a shield, that I could just acid all the way down and survive the Solar Beam. We'll see. Non-stab Solar Beam, and we barely survive, which is fantastic for me. In comes the Shadow Scizor again, and I'm able to get the full damage off, which is kind of crazy. So, oh, my apologies too. My camera just died, so you'll just hear my audio voice here instead of the camera. But that being said, my mic is still working, and we get the hard counter matchup we want in the back, which is always fantastic. And then able to catch a Body Slam bait, which is also really nice. And I'm just going to throw this Earth Power as well. Just need to try to get rid of this thing and see what we can do here. Oh, I'm expecting him to actually throw the Earth Power, because I know that he knows that Body Slam is not enough. Great catch on the Licky, but at this point in time, I think it's a little bit too late. Just not enough health left on the Gastrodon. 12 Vitorello, also a fantastic player, 3rd place at the LEIC International. Okay, so again, in these situations, you need to chip whatever it is and then come in Cradily. If I didn't throw that Body Slam, they wouldn't be in Rock Tomb range. I did not expect him to beta Octazooka at that point in time, which is kind of crazy in my mind, but he does get the bait off. However, I know I survived the Outrage, so if he wants to try to flip switch, I just double shield too if he double shields. We're in a good position overall. Managed to get that off. And then I get to the Rock Tomb for the debuff, which is nice. I don't know if he can farm me down all the way. I don't think so. I think it's going to be kind of tough. So going to force him to throw energy, which is good. Debuff, did some damage, and couldn't farm me all the way down is always nice. Going to go for another Scald, but it is debuff, so that's good. And then in comes a Gastrodon, which with hard counter. So, yeah. I mean, these are the things where, like, usually if you have a lead this strong, you don't want to be able to give it up, but the thing I like about this team is even in bad leads, you still have some play. Speaking of bad leads, this is the horrendous lead I was talking about. It is going to be Pidgeot, which core breaks the team very heavily. Cradily is like your only real answer. So my whole thought process here is I'm going to save Cradily and leave with energy and come back with it later. I did not expect, though, the Blizzard from J Mills, also a fantastic player. I'm trying to swap out here and leave as much energy as possible, and I do. This is pretty bad, though. This is really bad for me. I make another bad play too after this, you'll see in a second. Most Pidgeot are not running the Feather Dance, at least that I've seen. Most are running Air Cutter, which is much better. Alright, and then I try to go for some optimization on this next move play here. And so does he, but like I lose Charge Attack priority, so it's kind of a stupid play by me. I should just honestly stayed in there. Because then I didn't have to spend the shield. But there's a Crustle in the back, so I think my odds of winning were definitely on the smaller end to begin with. But if I had a shield and mating, this matchup definitely becomes a lot easier. Especially because I can't get hit by this Blizzard, right? So this game's just over. So well played. It's a tough lead matchup, but the Blizzard also really caught me off guard. Something to think about though, anytime you see a Tentacruel like that. Alright, another Shadow Scizor. At this point in time, I played 3 other Shadow Scizor. I've beaten 1, lost to 2, but I kind of know how to play it out. Most are going to shield at that point in time. If they go for a nice slash bait, they usually go Trailblaze right after. No one really double baits here. So I got either flip switch here, or wind switch, or do something else. It comes an Incineroar, which is kind of crazy. I love this Poke Games. Tends to run pretty spicy stuff. All I knew is he was probably running Shadow Scizor because he's been tweeting about it all day long. I don't really know what else was on his team, but the Incineroar is decent at this point in time, pretty manageable because now it's in farm down range. And in comes the Jellicent. I'm just going to overfarm a bit so I can optimize more easily. Just need 2 Leaf Blades and we're good. Also still have the Gastrodon, so I should be okay even if I don't get this next move off. But I outpace the Jellicent and we're able to take it out. And we take out the Incineroar as well. And there we go, another 3-2 set to close it out. Like I said, super positive on the day, finishing at 2583, which puts me way above any expectation I had today, and definitely on the leaderboard. Give this team a shot if you like. I know there's not a lot of time left, but I honestly think this meta felt pretty good, actually. I thought it was going to be a lot more RPS, but once I had the Gastrodon team, I was able to just core break a lot of people running ABA. So, but yeah, best of luck if you all decide to run it, and I think all these Pokemon are pretty viable in Open Ultra League as well, so it's not really a wasted investment if it doesn't turn out so well in this cup. You can always use it in Open Ultra League. Anyway, if you like this video, feel free to give a like and share, subscribe for future content, and hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next one. Peace out.